evening, YouTube model railroader fans. I'm Ray. You already knew that. Welcome to the wonderful world of wackiness. Any rate, this is Vlog 23. It's actually, goodness gracious, I know it's August now. August the 8th, 2015. I did Vlog 22, and I was working on an old Mantua engine for a buddy of mine, and I found a problem down here, and I know at least one person, Martin Bergman from Holland, picked up on it, that there was an issue. Well, we're going to get into the issue here in just a second, because I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks. Lucky me. I had started basically making Vlog 23, and then I'd stopped, and I was going to get back to it. Well, now I'm finally getting back to it. So the thing is what we're going to do is I'm going to explain what's getting ready to come up. I'm going to talk about the issue that I found. What happened is I have a dehumidifier that doesn't sit under the layout, but it sits over where my sump pump is. And I have a rug underneath of it. And that's to kind of keep it quiet. It doesn't really help, but, you know, it does a little bit. The problem is when I went to run the locomotive, that underneath of Wykert Hill, and it's been a problem because I didn't think about it ahead of time, or while I was actually wiring the thing up, that I should probably staple the wiring to the bottom of the hill, the piece of plywood that's holding the hill up. And every time I go to run locomotives, I have to go up underneath of Wykert Hill and make sure that the wiring for the lighting circuits isn't interfering with the locomotives or the trains. Dummy me, but it's a nice thing to go in there and just make sure there isn't something screwy going on underneath of there anyway. So I went to do that the other week when I was working on that locomotive, and noticed that the rug was like saturated. I'm like, that's not good. And we've had some unbelievably heavy rains here in Maryland. Basically, I think June through July. And before I came down to run that locomotive, we had actually had one of those really heavy rains. And that's what, you know, I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, if the water's coming from someplace, it isn't coming from the dehumidifier, that's fine. So what I did is the next day I went outside and I actually looked, and I found out that the dirt had been washed away from, pardon me, I've got something up, I've been outside working all day, so my allergies are kicking. But what I found is right at the foundation, the dirt's been washed away. Well, the reason why the dirt's been washed away is because the bump out that sits out there, which is going to get explained here in a minute, so don't worry, we're going to get to it. But the bump out didn't have a rain spout or a downspout on it. So today, actually, now that I'm back off of vacation, I went ahead and I put up a gutter and a downspout to get the water away from the foundation. So that should take care of at least the dirt getting washed away. The next part of the project will actually be going out there and digging a trench around the foundation of that bump out to make sure that the foundation itself isn't cracked, and if it is, repair it before I backfill it with dirt again. So it's going to be it's a multi-stage project. There was no point in putting more dirt down there if there's a problem with the foundation or with the fact that there was no downspout and gutter. So now there's a gutter and downspout. That takes care of that problem. So anyway, we're going to stop here for a second. We'll go into that, and then I'll come back. So we'll be back in a minute. Well, good evening, YouTube model railroader fans. I'm Ray, and no, I didn't take up garden railroading. But I did have, because of the fact that I kind of ended vlog, let's do it that way, I did end up Vlog 22 with an issue, and I figured a good place to start would be outside. So let me turn the camera here a minute, and we'll get back to this. Okay, first things first. The people that had the house originally, back in the 1950s, had this I guess for lack of a better term, a bump out added to the house later on. Now, the interesting thing about this bump out is that it's actually an extension of the dining room. Well, I was talking about the water leak. I think I found my problem. So, really, the reality is, as you can see in the background there is no rain spout on that bump out. So, that's going to be a project that I'm going to have to work on, get that fixed. And I'm going to show you something else that's really interesting with that bump out here in just a second. So, that is the bump out. Now, when we first looked at the house, there was actually a china cupboard that went across there, but they took that with them, so we just have the TV and a buffet sitting there. Now for the really goofy part. Where does that bump out sit? Over top the window. And of course you can't really see it from here, but of course there is shadows. You can see, you know, me in the high. But it's basically, they went ahead and then closed the window, but left the window there and just kind of made a box around the window. And that's really what was happening is there's actually a little bit of a foundation in there, and the water was collecting in there, and I think what happened is it overflowed that, came through the window, and down the wall it went, and that's why it ruined, or not ruined, but got the rug all wet. So, at least that's the thoughts. Oh, one other unique thing. That's one window. Obviously, that's got no outside ventilation. That's the second window. That one is actually goes and looks out underneath the back deck. The only window that I actually have that goes to the outside is that window. So there's 3 windows down here, but only one of them is usable. So, anyway, I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. Okay, so you got to see the different window configurations and the different issues I've got down here. So hopefully now I've already tested out the gutter and the downspout. That should be working well. I'm not going to take you guys back out there. I mean, it's a gutter and a downspout. Let's put it this way. I'm not a gutter and downspout guy. And it took me 4.5 hours to put the thing together. It's 3 feet down one side, 11 feet across the front, and 3 feet down the other side. It basically took me all afternoon to put the darn thing together. Probably could have paid somebody. They could have came out and done it in 2. But that, hey, I try to do things myself, and when I screw them up bad enough, then I'll find somebody to do it. Anywho, so, I haven't done any more with the big build. I need to get back to that. I need to get some parts first. I need to get some, I know that they make them as the air conditioning turns on, for doing right angles, or actually doing angles, period. You know, I've done buildings without it before, but because this isn't a perfect square or a rectangle, I decided, you know what, it may not be a bad idea to go ahead and just go out and get those thingamajigs that the jig that you go ahead and you bring the walls together and then glue it. So, I haven't had a chance to go out and take a look for them, but I'm going to, hopefully here, I know I got to be done by the end of September, and, you know, here it is, it's the first week of August. You know, so, you know, I'm a little bit behind, but then again, it's the summertime, and this isn't a priority down here. This isn't my main focus right now. Beside the fact that, you know, still trying to get caught up on other things, which I'm not going to bring that back to light, but things are finally starting to settle out with that now, so we're good there. But, you know, it's just the normal stuff, you know. So I think with that, and I know some folks have been asking about, oh, that's one of the other things. I know some folks have been asking about trains running. I'm going to get to that. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, to be honest. I mean, right now I really need to focus on the big build contest and get that thing done, so that way it's out of the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and start focusing back on running trains again and getting operating sessions going down here. Speaking of operating sessions, like I said, I just got back from vacation. One of the things I wanted to bring up, and one of the things I will be linking in this video, is a thing called the Grand Strand Model RRs. They are down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you're ever down in that down that way, stop by the mall there. They've got a O gauge, they've got an N gauge, and they've got an HO gauge layout. And they're getting ready to build a LGB that's going to go around the ceiling. That was donated to them by somebody that was a part of the club, I guess, at one point. But they've got a really nice, you know, it's like I said, they've got the O gauge, they've got a really nice HO gauge with a beautiful trestle. I did take some pictures. I'm gonna have to try and post them when I get a chance. I'm trying to think of where they are. I think they're actually on the cell phone, so I'll have to get them transferred from the cell phone, and I'll have to post them up on our Facebook page for the YouTube model builders. And I told the guys down there, I told the two of them, guys, trust me, I am terrible with names, so I don't remember their names, but I was talking to two fellows down there. I must have talked to them for close to an hour. Very nice guys. One guy was on the HO side, one guy was on the N scale side. Very nice guys, very nice people. Like I said, you ever in Myrtle Beach, look them up. They're in the Myrtle Beach Mall. It's called the Grand Strand Model Railroaders. So, like I said, I'll be putting a link to their website down at the bottom of this video. And also, thank you, Mr. Howard. I got my second set of Highways and Byways. I appreciate that. I don't know how it happened, but I ended up winning it again. So, you know, I really appreciate it. Now that I've got two sets, I might actually take one set and try it out on this thing just to see how things work out, and then I'll save the other set for when it gets rebuilt. But we'll see what happens. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but I figured, what the heck, now I've got two sets to play with, and why not? Maybe I'll go ahead and give one of them a shot on here, and maybe I'll do a vlog on that. I know Mr. Sharp has done that before, but maybe we'll do that. So, anyway, folks, I know I'm getting pretty close to my time limit. You know, I'm still having that issue with this iPad and iMovies and YouTube not syncing up, saying that I can go over 15 minutes. So I've been trying to keep these to 15 minutes or less. And I know some folks out there have, you know, they try to do the same thing. As the clock starts to go. Welcome to the any day now. I don't know why, but it sounded like it went around the clock twice. I don't know. Anyway, folks, you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you next time. Take them easy. Actually, take them any way you can get it.